Let's go live to our moderator, Jake Rapp, who will begin the debate. And you can join us afterward for analysis, more analysis, with Marcus Detweiler. Enjoy the debate.
Good evening and welcome to this 2014 Student Senate Elections Debate. My name is Jake Rapp. I'm the chair of this year's Elections Commission. And this is the first annual presidential and vice presidential debate hosted by the Elections Commission, which serves to inform the student body about the positions, ideas, and experiences that these candidates offer. Tonight we are being live streamed to the web, and this video will also be available online as students prepare to cast their votes next week. Before we begin, I would like to publicly thank the following people: the member of this year's Elections Commission seated in the front row, the staff of the Kansas Memorial Unions, the production team in the Media Crossroads Center, many student journalists and producers from KUJH, KJHK, and the University Daily Kansan who have promoted this event and helped make it a reality, as well as our panel of journalists who will ask questions in this evening's debate. I would also like to specifically thank Erin Quisenberry in the Student Involvement Leadership Center, Sabina Jones in the Student Senate Office, Sharon Leatherman in the Kansas Union Administrative Office, and Brett Akagi from the Journalism School. This evening we will hear from the vice presidential and presidential candidates from all three declared coalitions. We'll begin with the vice presidential candidates who are seated at the table in front of you. First, we have Sarah Anise from Crimson and True. Next to her is seated Miranda Wagner from Grow KU. And seated next to her is Mitchell Cota from Jayhawkers. We'll begin with opening statements that will last 3 minutes. And in a random drawing, it was determined that Sarah of Crimson and True will speak first.
Is that my cue?
It is your cue.
Awesome. Messed that up already. Well, when I hear the term opening statement, that kind of gets me thinking about my years spent in mock trial, because opening statements are something we do regularly, but they're more argumentative and story-like. And so I'm going to have to take you on a story, and I hope you'll bear with me on that. I'm sitting at this table because I started Student Senate 2.5 years ago, but I started wanting to join Student Senate when I was a sophomore in high school. Now, you may be thinking, why was this girl thinking about college student government when she was in high school? And that was because I had a really excellent math teacher named Katie Anderson. I was never good at math, and I always wanted to be good at math because it was something that I thought was really special in a way, and it could help you learn how to do a lot of really interesting things if you put your mind to it and you're creative. And I really didn't know where I wanted to go to college, but Miss Anderson, as I like to call her, was a very avid Jayhawk fan, to the point that her screen on the computer was always the KU campus. She was always telling me about KU, and that's when I finally broke down and I decided to visit. And when I did, I almost knocked a guy over when he was riding on his bicycle, and he said, "It's cool." And that's when I knew I wanted to come to KU. I was trying to take a picture of Lippincott Hall, and things just kind of went wrong. You guys will probably see that I'm kind of clumsy, but hopefully I won't fall out of my chair tonight. So, continuing on with that, I decided to run for freshman senate my freshman year, and I was unsuccessful in that, but my campaign was something interesting, I thought. I handed out whistles, and attached to my whistles it said, "Vote Sarah Anise and be heard." And I thought that was a really fun thing to do, and I still have the whistles. They're tangled up in a desk drawer, but to me that's a very memorable keepsake that I hold dear. The reason why I thought that was such a special experience is because it allowed me the opportunity to meet people who I would not have been able to meet on a regular basis. I was too shy. I remember one girl saw me chalking and said, "Can I help you?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, if you want to draw a Jayhawk, I guess you can, but thanks." And she was a fantastic art and design student. And for me, that was really, really special. So I started Student Senate, and I wasn't successful with my freshman campaign, but I decided to apply for a placement senator. And when I was accepted with that, I got a call walking up Daisy Hill, and I was panting, and they said, "We're excited to tell you that you're going to be a replacement senator." And I screamed. I screamed at that. So when I went into the Student Senate office, they're like, "Oh, you're the girl that screamed." And that kind of defined my freshman year. I was the girl that screamed. So I wanted to kind of tell you about why it is that I'm still involved with Student Senate, because obviously it's something that I'm passionate about and I love doing. But last summer, I was an intern at the Coro Institute, which is a public affairs internship, and that really just kind of sparked my interest in public affairs and making the world better. And that's why I'm sitting at this table, because I think that we can definitely do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. The next to speak will be Mitchell of the Jayhawkers.
Hello. Has there ever been a time that you felt like your voice wasn't valued or you faced discrimination? In middle school, I was asked, "What are you?" And from that moment, I realized that I wasn't part of the privileged group, and it sparked a passion within me. As a racially ambiguous, Hispanic, gay, first-generation college student, I have been constantly reminded of how I don't fit Candace's mold. My voice has to be the loudest in the room to even be heard. And even now, I face that discrimination day to day in this campaign. And despite that, I have been inspired to fight for what I believe in. I have been inspired to fight for what other people believe in and let their voices be heard. I originally didn't even want to actually run for vice president, but with my work in Senate, I realized that these underrepresented students were not getting the voice that they deserved. On the student level, on the university level, it was not a priority for the university at all. And I knew it was time to let these underrepresented students actually be heard. And I believe our platforms will enhance the student experience in several ways, and we'll be able to connect these students with resources across campus in a way that I never was able to when I first came here to just to college in general, to my high school, etc. In 3 stages, our platforms can help people, whether that's before they come here with the Student Transition Academic Readiness Initiative, which can help students bridge from high school to college and actually make them feel needed and belong before they even come here, or if that's with our initiative Late Night at the Union while they're here at KU, and give them a social environment and a space that's safe and that they can actually feel like they're together with other people. Or if that's, lastly, with a social justice minor that will equip the students with the knowledge to advocate for social equity. Conclusively, I just want to say that I want students to have an easier time than I did with whether that's just being welcomed here or if that's being just who they are. And as a ticket, Mackenzie and I believe that inclusivity is key. And we want to listen to their voices, but just not that. Most importantly, we want to work for them despite and regardless of their privileges. I'm Mitchell Cota, and I am the Jayhawkers Vice Presidential candidate.
Thank you, Mitchell. And speaking third is Miranda of Grow KU.
You get 2.
Okay, not those. No, that doesn't work. First of all, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, taking some time out of your Thursday. Really appreciate y'all. Obviously, you're very invested in this campaign and this election, so props to all of you for being here in the first place. So kind of talking about Grow KU and our team, I keep thinking about the week after our formation caucus, which feels like ages ago now. There is about 20 of us sitting in my tiny living room of my apartment. Some of you probably remember, it was pretty crowded. We were there till like 11 p.m. We made some coffee. It was kind of a rough night, but we were so excited about what we had just started. We threw a bunch of platforms out on the table, a bunch of ideas saying, can we do this? Who do we need to meet with to make this happen? We had to phone in Morgan because she was out of town in DC, and she gave us a little speech as well about all of her ideas and why she was invested in this. And I just think that that memory will stick out as a very formative moment of this campaign for me. So I just kind of want to share. I think that this has been a very organic experience for everyone on this team. Like I said, we threw a bunch of ideas on the table at that meeting that we kind of had, and a lot of great things have come out of that. You know, we've gone to administrators, we've sat down and said, what can we do to make this better? And I think what's really unique about all of our platforms is they are intended to be student-led, student-initiated, and bringing all of the student voices to the table. You know, whether we're talking about grading skills, whether we're talking about the mental health issues on campus and how we can destigmatize all of that, talking about a non-traditional student resource center. Non-traditional students aren't even really tracked at our university right now. They're a huge population that we only have the best estimates of maybe 25% of our population from 10 years ago. It's really been great to have different individuals coming into our team and saying, this is what we want to make better. Me personally, I came into Senate kind of pretty much a lot differently than these two. I joined a campaign last year when someone looked at me and said, you should run for Senate. And I was like, no, you're crazy. I'm not a politician. I can't do any of this. I'm not going to let Senate suck